Got to show you the good with the bad. I've been sitting on this for a little while now, but I'm gonna show you some of my frustration. Okay, so basically the premise is to take this whole list of URLs right here and go scrape the content and stuff like that. And so keep in mind this right here, this column right there, the complete NQ, stuff like that. This is the automation. I'm gonna show you where the problem is. To give you context, basically this is going to take all those URLs, go scrape the content that's off of those URLs and go put them into a database so me and my team can use it. It's API information, so that way we can actually go and just grab stuff really easily. It's from a system that we use. And so yeah, but the one hiccup about this is that it's not normal HTML. It is actually being rendered by JavaScript, basically code talk. It's basically the content isn't showing up exactly correct. If you look at the code, it does, but it also doesn't when you look at a normal scraper. I'm gonna get into it. So I triggered this off manually right here, and it goes into this Google Sheet and goes and says, oh, let me go check out the Google Sheet and see which one says scraping. It is when you change something to this. Once it sees that that has been changed to scraping, it's going to go over here and say, oh, let's take a piece of that URL and go define a category with it. Then it goes to this HTTP request. This is the big one. This is using a service called FireCrawl, and basically what we did was go to the playground, we put in the URL right there, and we said for it to scrape. Then we put all these little parameters right there, blah, blah, blah. And then basically all you gotta do is one little thing is go run it first, and then it's gonna come down here and you can actually go and see what the output's gonna look like. So cool, that's exactly what we wanted to look like. If you scroll down a little bit further, there's a table, but that's neither here nor there. But what FireCrawl does is it goes and gives you code. So I'm gonna cut this off just a little bit, just because it's going to show the API. But if you see right here, curl, right here, if you go to curl, it's going to go over here, over to the right, just where I can't show you as a copy button, but you can copy that. Now we have that FireCrawl node in this workflow, but I mean not the workflow, but in the directory. But I use the HTTP request because you can do import curl. So you can click on this and go paste that code in there, and then it goes and fills everything in. And I can't show you because my API code. So the reason we use FireCrawl is so that way we can use that JavaScript. It's not going to affect us. We're going to still be able to go get the code. We're going to strip the code out of all the HTML, and then we basically go have AI say, hey, go strip even more of it out and go make it into an easier way for our Supabase database to be able to process it and be able to have it easily sorted and remembered and stuff like that. And then basically goes back into that same sheet and goes, oh, let's update that column to complete that green block. And then now it goes into edit fields. Now this is a math operation to basically say, hey, I want you to take that previous row that we had up here in this Google Sheet and go add the number 1 to it. Now this little fucker is the part that's having the worst issue right here, because all I want this to do is go look at the row right above, which is why we did this math execution, is say, hey, I want you to go look at row 5 now, or 6, or whatever. Go look at the next row and see if the word NQ is there. And this little fucker wants to pull everything or nothing. So this is my biggest headache right now, and this should be the simplest thing. But we're just trying to get this to pull over there, and then it comes down here and switches and says, okay, if this is true, if NQ is there, we're going to go back and go to the row, and we're going to go label that scrape again. So that way it's just one big loop, but it's not your typical loop. And if we get to the very end and there's no NQ there, it's just going to end this workflow. Now, if you made it this far, don't at me because it is what it is. There's probably a whole lot better way of doing it, but this is a way that I could literally go in and easily see where things might have broken and tested and stuff like that. So that way I have a little bit more control, because sure, you can do an array, you can do a whole lot of stuff to make it process faster, but I wanted to make sure that that content went in correctly as opposed to duplicate content and stuff like that. And we're not going to run this all the time. So we're just going to let this go. And as soon as it gets done, it stops and it's going to get turned off. And we can use it for another scraping job later on. Change up some parameters, turn it on, let it run, turn it off. And so that's the reasoning behind that. But just so you know, a lot of us get frustrated too, even with some of the most simple things.